Only one way to start this video, and that's with a cold start. So I've had the Nissan Nismo Z for a week now, and I'm just gonna share my thoughts and everything I liked and didn't like about it. Starting with the exterior, I will also have timestamps in the description so you can skip to different parts of the video. The exterior of the 2024 Nissan Nismo Z is exactly what it needs to be. This specific one is in a two-tone stealth gray with super black on top. I don't know what super black is, but I guess Nissan does. This paint option alone is a $1,275 upgrade. The Nismo also has a specific body kit, larger brakes, raised forged wheels that are lighter than the normal Z wheels, along with a sport exhaust and some Nismo badging to make you feel better about paying a starting price of at least $65,000 for a Nissan Z. The exterior is beautiful and sporty without being over the top like the previous generation's Civic Type R. The interior of the Z, very simple, and they've invested in the right areas in terms of the Alcantara that's on the steering wheel. That's very nice. Listen to that shift just pop off. Sounds so good. The seats have a lot of support. The bottom is nice and soft for you, so that's good. That absorbs some of the shock of the suspension. The sides are very tight with leather trim. And then it has the Nismo Sport exhaust, which you can fit to the other Z models, which is nice that they make that available. Other than that, it's very simple. The display in front of you is high resolution. You can customize it a lot. If you're going to the track, it shows all the temperatures you're gonna wanna see. And then it has two other modes. It's so effortlessly quick. There's really not a ton of turbo lag that I feel. The center infotainment, it has Apple CarPlay. It's kind of, it's fine. It has Apple CarPlay, and like I've said when I drove the Corolla Morizo Edition, who cares? Honestly, if anyone from Nissan is listening, if you offered a model that was a little cheaper that came with no infotainment system, just a hole here and a USB cord to plug your phone in for music, the people buying this car would appreciate that. You could shed weight, you could shed some costs and pass that on to the enthusiast, and they would appreciate that because we don't need this. I drive this car around with no sound on. It does have a Bose sound system. I don't know how good it is, but it's so, you just feel engaged when you're driving this thing despite it not having a manual transmission and it having a 9-speed auto. The addition of that clutch is a big deal in my opinion, and you have a bigger trunk than you have in the Supra. There's a lot more space in this, surprisingly. There's two blank switches here. That's normally where the heated seats go. Then you just have this switch to pop the hatch open. It's not automatic, it's just a release, so it's ready to go. Other than that, it's simple. Your paddle shifters, air conditioning, your switches to what direction you want the air to go, and then your gauges up here, which I really don't use. Visibility out of the car is excellent. I don't feel as squat as you do in a Supra or a Camaro. And out of the back, it's very nice as well. The blind spots are right here. When you go to look over your shoulder, there's just this big pillar here. Can't see much, so you really have to use your both rear and side mirrors to be able to make sure you're not cutting anyone off. Other than that, this is exactly what this car should be. Nismo did a really nice job. I know everyone likes to nitpick, oh, the cost, oh, the Z. It's like, what do you want? It's like, I find a lot of times the people complaining about these cars aren't buying them. Oh, it should come in a manual. Okay, do you own a manual car? No. Okay, so what are you talking about then? I think it's totally fine as it is. If they offer a manual in the future, great. But if you want the manual in a Z, just get one of the entry-level Zs and you can have your manual transmission. To get it into manual mode, you simply pull back on the shifter and it highlights M. If you want to go back into automatic, you pull back on the shifter again and puts it into drive mode for you. Or you can just tap the shifters right here. Man, and then you hear the burbles out of the exhaust. It sounds so good. It's just fun. Something interesting I noticed when I was at the Los Angeles Auto Show is they had the Nismo Z, this car, and the Nismo GTR stacked on top of one another. And they had the tires out for the Z. And on the exterior of the tire, you can see it says sponge. What I saw at the LA Auto Show was there was that foam inner lining on this tire, which normally you see that in EVs to help reduce the road noise from tires. I'm pretty sure that that's what sponge means. I think this actually has that on it, which is interesting. I wouldn't have thought on a sports car that they would care to reduce the sound like that, but I'm happy they did. This specific model costs $68,000. And initially when I saw that, I was like, that's a lot more than a Supra. That's more than a BMW M2. How is this possibly going to deliver? And especially with the technology, and Nissans, they're not known for having great infotainment systems, but they added another clutch to this transmission to make it more responsive. It only comes in a 9-speed automatic transmission, so people were upset that, hey, this isn't in a manual transmission. This thing's excellent. I feel like an athlete being in this thing. It is so fun and engaging to drive despite it being an automatic. So we're in manual mode now, down into 3rd gear. Really the only thing that I think needs to be adjusted on this, like from the factory when you buy one, are the tires. This is a track tire that's on it. It's a very, very aggressive tire. It has a 200 tread wear rating, and it's borderline dangerous in colder weather and rain. I think you should go to a more streetable summer tire. A Michelin Pilot Sport 4S would be a great example of that. 420 horsepower. The normal Z has 400 horsepower. This also has 384 pound-feet of torque. The normal Z has 350. So you're getting a bump in power. They're adding a clutch to the transmission. It has a different suspension, forged wheels. It has more cuts in it to cool the brakes on the track. You know, looking at the price tag first was a mistake because it's just so much more than that. It's a very special car. I owned a BMW M2. I've driven all forms of the Supra, and they just don't give you the raw experience that this provides. While it is at a higher price tag, it provides a really connected experience, and I don't see you really missing a manual. If you want the manual, just get a lower trim version of the Z, and then that solves that problem and saves you some money. But I don't think you're going to get in this and say, I really missed that, because when you put it into manual mode, you're able to pop shifts off quick. That extra clutch really does help. It makes it engaging to drive, which is not easy to do in a automatic transmission car. But yeah, they've absolutely done it. Alcantara steering wheel. The paddle shifters, I think, are just plastic. I don't think they're magnesium. That would make it go up to $100,000, but it's just exciting to drive. You can even see there, the tires, it kind of scares me. I haven't really pushed the car because of the tires. And in Phoenix, it's only 50 degrees right now. In the mornings, it's been in the 30s. So these are slipping. I'm not gonna wreck a Nissan press car. So sometimes you have to be just quiet and enjoy it, you know? You guys would probably just prefer me shutting up and just driving. Bam, pops the shift off really quick. And the sound of the exhaust, we'll cut to an exhaust clip right now. The sound of the exhaust is nice. It's sporty, it pops. I didn't expect it to have any pops. Again, twin turbo V6. Some people complain about the sound of a V6. I don't really know what there's to complain about. This sounds good to me. Not really any induction sound. There also are shift lights up here. Not much of an induction sound, just really just sound of the exhaust. And the suspension's tight. The seats also, you can see there's your special Recaro Nismo seats. They're pretty comfortable, believe it or not. There's actually a lot of padding where your bottom sits, and then this right here sinks in a lot. So you actually have a lot of nice padding back here. If you were wearing a helmet, there's plenty of room to wear a helmet. And the rear of the car, one thing it does better than the Supra is it has a lot of space in it. The rear of the car, you can fit a set of golf clubs in without taking any woods out. The Supra is very small. Now the Supra has better technology. The B58 motor is very popular. It's proven. They have the ZF transmission in that is excellent. This though I've never gotten so many looks. I didn't expect to get as many looks as I have in this. I was at the grocery store the other day. Dude in the WRX goes, love the Z, man. Thank you. And I don't explain. I'm like, this is not my car. But anyways, the other lady walks up to me. She goes, that's a nice car you have. I go, thank you. She goes, is it electric? And I go, if you want it to be. So it overall is a surprising car, and the price tag to me becomes less apparent because this is a limited release car. You're not going to see that many of these. The tires,
Oh my God, did they get them at the deli? Like, they're so fat. It's like, you know, they pull those turkeys out and slice them. That's what these tires are like. You just want to smack them for some reason. The car is also, you know, it has launch control. The Z is also quick in a straight line. And because the suspension is so tight, you don't realize how quick you're actually going. You can be going 100 miles an hour in this and it feels like you're going 60 because the suspension is so tight. And at those higher speeds, that's where it really starts to work. Down into second. I just love the way this thing pops shifts off and the sound of the exhaust. Like, there's really not much you would do to this. Like, it's just truly a very direct car. I know they've adjusted the steering. It also has Sport Plus mode. So the regular Z just has normal and Sport mode. This adds Sport Plus, which lets shifts be more aggressive. The Z just has a way of feeling, the Nismo in particular, has a way of feeling light and athletic in your fingertips. The shift light's perfect. I just enjoy, I was finding reasons. I was going to the grocery store and just looking for things like, what should I make tonight? Just so I could have a little run. That's not even full throttle. That's just half throttle. Just banging shifts off. I can't say enough about this. I'm losing my voice. I've been talking so much about it. It feels so good. Now the other thing is, this is not a daily driver. The Nismo is not. It's far too uncomfortable in my opinion. I don't think you're going to want to be in this. And some of you may think, oh, well, it's not electric, it's not good for the environment, blah, blah, blah. These aren't going to be driven in insane amounts. These are for track days, and it provides a feel that an electric car does not yet provide. I don't doubt that EVs are going to get there. Hyundai has already started with their dual clutch simulator in the Ioniq 5N. So it's coming, but the sound of the exhaust, the characteristics of the engine, boost coming on from the twin turbo, it just does, the imperfections of it are what make it so fun. If you have a Model 3 Performance, it does 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds, and it does it every time. And it's tough to beat that car. There's Ferraris that cannot beat that car on the street. Not that you should be racing out there. The imperfections are what makes it great. The pops and sounds of the exhaust, the transmission shifts and everything like that. I don't know, there's just something that an EV can't replace with that. And it's all part of the car enthusiast community. If you enjoy your Tesla or your EV, you never cared about cars before, there's people that have been driving these forever that absolutely love them. And it just grows the entire car community as a whole. And we should all want that. We should want there to be more industry and more jobs. There's also people that never cared about their car. And Tesla made them care, and they left Tesla and ended up buying a BMW M or Mercedes AMG because they were like, whoa, there's other cars out there that are really fast and fun. So overall, the car community has grown by millions of people because of the addition of EVs. And you can't say, oh, stinky gas, and that's no fun to drive, oil changes. Like, act like you can't afford an oil change. This is just, you know, I'm surprised that these are still being made. I think gas-powered cars will still be made well into the 2030s, maybe even 2040s, because there's too much. The market adoption right now, I think on an EV is 5% in the US, or I think that's all it is, maybe 9%. Think of the years that we have to go to make charging faster, make batteries better in cold weather to go longer distances. It's a long way to go, and we're transitioning, we're heading in the right direction, but I like the idea of having both, maybe reducing the need for gas and big city buses and things like that, and then, you know, eventually getting full-time into the private cars. But this is an absolute blast to drive. Nissan did an excellent job. The transmission for me is my favorite part because it's actually engaging and fun to drive. And if you're not going to have a manual transmission, you need to have a good automatic transmission, and they did that. Now, if you want to see the Nissan GT-R that I reviewed years ago, click this video right here. I think you'll really enjoy that. It was a 2017, and that's when they really made big exterior and interior changes to make it worth the money that it costs.